All right, this is Cody Rutzel with Soccer Dads, and I'm here with Keith Allen. And we just had the opportunity to talk with Coach Marissa Lewis from Edgewater University, a Division II school in Jacksonville, Florida. It was a great talk, and here it is. Welcome to Soccer Dads, and on the phone today we have Coach Marissa Lewis from Edgewater University. Thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to just go throughout this podcast or take this time to chat with you guys.
All right, we do have Keith Allen here. I am Cody Rutzel here on the call for the day. And really, can you just give us a little bit about your background, coaching, playing background?
Yeah, so I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, was born and raised there, and grew up playing soccer my whole life. I graduated high school in 2015, and the recruiting scene in 2015 compared to now was so different.
How so?
And, sorry, what?
How so? How was it different?
Oh, yeah, so Instagram wasn't really big, so you couldn't make recruitment pages. You actually had to reach out to coaches, and you were very lucky if a coach responded to you back then. Sometimes I even heard of people writing personal letters and then sending them to coaches in the mail. So crazy to think that that was a thing in 2015 because we had the internet and email and all of that. So unfortunately, I didn't end up playing NCAA soccer, and I went the club soccer route. I went to Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio, and it was honestly the best experience I could have asked for. I didn't know what to expect going into the club scene. However, our team was extremely good. We still got all the cool gear. We had games, 1 to 2 games a week. We were still traveling. Had two coaches actually. So that was my playing background in college. Very unconventional, especially now being a D2 coach. When I tell people that I only played club, they'd be like, really? What? How are you a college coach? So yeah, that was my playing background in college. And then after college, so I graduated college in 2020, COVID, nothing's going on. And not the best time to graduate, but you know, that's what.
Well, I guess you got to relax after you graduated, right?
That's true, yeah. Relax and not make any money because nobody was hiring. But yeah, I was able to jump into some different soccer leagues, thankfully. So there was a league called NOSL that had just started right after COVID, so was able to do that in the summers. And then I played for a team in Youngstown, Ohio. They were called the Nighthawks, and that was a PASL team, and now it's the MASL. So they transitioned into that. It's an indoor arena soccer league. Super fun, super competitive. They had nationals and all of that. So yeah, that's just a little bit about my playing background. And then in the fall of 2020, it was the spring of 2024, a lady that I knew through coaching had contacted one of my other coaches that I was working with, and she said, hey, do you think Marissa would move down to Florida with me, be my assistant coach?
Wow.
And I said, yeah, sounds good to me. I've always wanted to live in Florida. I had a whole soccer background of playing and coaching. And yeah, I just packed up my car at the end of that summer and moved on down here. Some things fell through with previous coaching staffs, and the administration had decided to bring me on board as head coach. So yeah, that's kind of how I got here. It was very smooth. It's not something I've ever dreamed of, but it's, again, just something that was kind of passed down to me, and I'm very grateful I was able to take such an easy route. I feel as though a lot of coaches, this is their dream and they don't know how to get here. Or I meet so many coaches that will say, oh, you're so young, how are you a head coach? And I just say, well, this is what happened. This is my story. So, yeah, that's a little bit about how I got to Florida.
Well, that's pretty amazing. So what did you get your degree in? What was the degree that you got from university?
My undergraduate is in business and communication. and then I have a master's in media. I didn't know what to do
Wow.
after college, and BGSU was paying for me to get a free degree in a year. So I said, okay, great.
That's
I'll
cool.
stay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So both of those kind of come into play as being a modern coach, I guess. You have to have communication skills and business skills to run a college team. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, you're communicating with all different types of people every day, and if you're not, I think there's a problem. I feel like I'm always on the phone or always sending out emails, and also with a background in media, I help our girls run our social media page. I help them with just like learning different marketing strategies, especially now with TikTok and just the growing of social media. People can now get NIL deals or be influencers in this crazy
That's crazy.
social media realm. But I do love the fact that I can basically tap in with the girls and help them kind of like create their portfolios so that way when they graduate, they can go to businesses and demonstrate, oh, this is everything that I learned. Here you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I know you mentioned emails, get a lot of emails. As a college coach, how many players and emails do you receive on the daily, pretty much?
A lot. From just players, coaches, obviously it's a prime time to get things settled for the upcoming fall season. I don't know a specific number because sometimes maybe I get maybe 10 players today, another day, especially if it's a tournament weekend coming up, and a lot of the girls will look at which universities are coming, then they just send out their mass emails to all the coaches. So if it's a tournament weekend, you get 40, 50, hey, can you come check out my game on field 7? And then it's all of those 50 girls are saying the same thing. It's very interesting. But, I mean, they want you to come check them out at their games.
So how much time do you spend, or do you have your assistant coaches spend on looking at emails like that and actually maybe evaluating if they have a YouTube link or an Instagram link to show you whatever skills they want to show off?
Yeah, so we do our best to respond to everyone. I think it's only respectful. It does take a lot of time on our part, but I know as a player I would want to hear back whether it be a yes or a no.
Yeah.
So when it comes to those emails though, I hope that everybody provides a link because then we don't have to send out another email and then wait for them to respond. I would say always include your film link in your recruiting emails. It just keeps it so much more simple for us coaching staff. So yeah, I will take about 2 minutes, watch the film, sometimes a minute. And I would say in the beginning of your film, put what you're good at. Like if someone's a striker, we want to see you scoring goals. We don't want to see you doing headers in the back of the field. So yeah, always put the things that you're best at in the beginning because that's going to really strike a coach's interest. And I'll be like, oh, okay, that was really great. Let me watch a little more. So then you become intrigued. Yeah, so always include that link. And then when it comes to just engaging with the coach with the emails, I feel like sometimes a lot of girls will forget that they're copying and pasting their email to the same university. So I've had
Edit
say,
your notes.
Yeah, I've had girls say, oh, like, good morning, Coach Robinson. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's not me. So are you sure you're contacting the right person, or did you just forget to pay attention to the detail and switch it up?
So what are you looking for in a player? Like what kind of, obviously you want on the field skills and depending on position, there's position things, but beyond that, what are you looking for in a player?
I always am looking for team players, number one. I mean, how do these girls treat their teammates? How do they treat their coaches? And lastly, how do they treat their parents? That's one thing I love to watch. You know, when they get off the field, is it they're being respectful or is it they're frustrated so they're ignoring their parents? Respect is huge for us. We want to make sure that you're going to come into our environment and be able to respect everybody on our campus. Once you put on our logo or somebody else's school logo, you're representing something more than yourself. You're representing the culture of that particular sports team. And I don't want someone who's not respectful to represent our team and our school. So that's number one. Number two, I would say is we're looking for athletes who are pretty book smart. I mean, not everybody has the best time going through school, so we do give opportunities to people who do have a little bit of lower GPAs. However, it's a lot easier for us to maintain ladies who have great GPAs because we can just trust that they're going to go to class, they're going to get their work done. We know that they're just going to put in the effort off the field as well. Everyone comes to college to be a student first and an athlete second. So we got to make sure we're getting these girls in and out, and hopefully 4 years they can get their degree and then go on and be great young women in society. So then our third thing that we really do look for are ladies who can be leaders. I know not everybody has the innate maybe ability to even want to be a leader, but we try to build up our ladies in different ways so that way they can develop leadership skills, and then once they leave college they're able to go be effective in whichever field that may be, whether it be a mom, get a job, go on to play pro soccer, or go into the military. I feel as though everyone, when they leave college, they're going to go into one of those four paths.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that the qualities that they're gaining and learning from college soccer can apply in their post-grad life.
So soccer is much bigger than the field, it sounds like, and we both have had kids go to college and play, and we've heard similar kinds of things about character, about how a player handles themselves. And I love the part that you talked about watching the players as they go talk to their parents. I've heard other coaches that I've talked to say the same kind of thing, like we're watching them in the moments they're not on the field and that they're talking to other people, because we want to see how they actually act and how they treat others, how they handle themselves. And I think that's such an important message for young players.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah.
So I have a question for you. In the recruiting scene, you have, looking at your roster, I see you have some international players, and you got a lot of stateside players. What's kind of the difference in recruiting an international player versus like a stateside player?
I'd say that there's a few factors. Number one, money. Just to keep it very honest and open, I think international students come in and there's a point of view that everyone gets a full ride.
Yeah.
So that's where a struggle is because at D2, we don't have, well, our D2 specifically, we're not fully funded. So not everybody gets to come in and get a full ride. Then with stateside players, they're typically more affordable because some people get FAFSA, or within the state of Florida, our girls get so much support from the government. There's a $3,000 scholarship you get because you are a resident of Florida, and then if you get really good grades, you get another $4,000 or $6,000. So with Florida girls, oh yeah, we want Florida girls to come here because we don't really have to give them soccer money. They can get fully funded from academics and just state money. So
That's where the book smarts help, right?
Absolutely, yes. And all of the stateside girls can qualify for academic money here just based on their test scores and GPA. Yeah, and then I do think though the style of playing though is different when you bring in an international student. Typically they might be a little more technical. Sometimes they might be a little slower, but their soccer IQ is astronomical. It's out of this world. I can explain something to them and they get it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Where sometimes the stateside players, it takes a little longer, which is fine. We just put in a little extra work to then get them to where the international player is.
So why do you think that is for the stateside? Do you just think that at youth club level that we're not focused on technical enough and that we're not teaching soccer IQ kind of things, or what is it that we could improve on youth-wise to make players better ready for college?
Yeah, that could be a whole podcast episode.
That is. That's a huge question, isn't it?
Yeah. you know the one guy that has the I Hate Soccer podcast?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, so I like to watch his stuff because it's very interesting. But on the other hand, I do think that there is a disconnect with club soccer in America. If you want to play on a good team, if you can afford it, great. I know growing up, my mom, she was like, well, I'm not driving an hour away for you to go play on this club team when we have this lower one and you can just play here because it's 5 minutes from our house. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I mean, that makes sense to me logically, and especially thinking about it now as I'm older, and now I'm seeing it. So that's one thing. And the money thing is huge. I know at least here in Jacksonville, I work at one club, and then I hear the things about the other clubs, and oh, so-and-so's parent isn't happy, but they do X, Y, and Z, and now their player gets more playing time, but do they deserve to be on the field? Usually not. I think parents sometimes ruin the club scene. I think sometimes parents have a little too much power. If the coach is the coach, let them coach. That's why they're there. That's their job.
That's coming from a coach, parents, so just understand. So, yeah, but no, it is hard because the parents want to help their player and they think they're probably helping their player that way. And I know when I first started with my oldest son, and I came to terms with it at a point where I was like, I'm in his way. I'm not actually helping him.
Right.
And so it helped my youngest son a lot because I probably was able to back off and support him instead of being an obstacle in his way, or I could be an advocate for him and help him talk to the coaches about things, and thankfully he had some really great coaches along the way that helped him, but those kinds of things can get in the way and take kids off the track who might be really good players. That's the other
Right.
part.
Yeah, and I also don't think you need to play top level as we consider top level ECNL in order to get scouted. I'm sure you guys know the cost of being a part of ECNL.
Yeah.
I mean, I like going to those events as a coach because it's super fun and we get all the food and it's just chill vibes. But coming from the player parent side, it's expensive and it's overkill. You have these kids playing 3 games in 3 days in either usually super extreme hot weather or super cold weather, and you could go and play GA, and the GA championships are crazy. These kids are super, super talented, and they're probably there because maybe they didn't have an ECNL team in their state or close to their hometown, or they just couldn't afford it. So I think, too, that a lot of people think, like, you have to play ECNL to get recruited, and that's totally not the case.
Do you think that love of the game, like if a player really loves the game, you can tell that in just talking to them instead of the ones that are there maybe thinking they're going to get college out of it or whatnot? And does that change you see the difference in how they work and how they play?
Yes, I definitely agree. I've seen that while I'm recruiting. I've seen that with maybe a few of our players here, and we've had to have chats with them and say, is this something you actually want to do, or is this is this a social thing for you? Yeah. And there's a difference between the players who love, eat, breathe soccer and someone who just shows up because this is, I've always done it, so I'm just going to do it till I graduate high school.
Yeah. So one of the things that we heard is that you're still looking for players. Is that correct? Like you're still hunting for players for the upcoming season? Is that correct?
Yeah, we're looking for maybe 1 to 2 more ladies. We have some scholarship money still available. Cool. And we had some girls get the academic scholarship, so then that's money that we get poured back into our soccer budget, thankfully.
So one question, like on a recruiting standpoint, and I know you said you go to tournaments. I know there's a tournament up in North Carolina, a GA event. Are you possibly attending that, or it's in June?
As of now, I don't think I am, but there's a possibility that I can. I didn't know about that one. I knew about there's an ECNL one this weekend.
All right. Yeah, I know in June there's one. I think it's called Norco. One of our local clubs is actually going to be flying over there and playing there. So,
okay.
So a lot of talented ladies on that team, I know.
Yeah. Do you know who the coach is?
I don't know who the coach is, but I can find out and let you know. It is like the FC Tucson, so a team out of Tucson, Arizona will be there for that.
Okay.
So we live in a small town that's like about 70 miles southeast of Tucson, and we're in a military community. So we have a pretty vibrant soccer community, and we've had a lot of kids go off and play soccer out of this community. But there's been a lot of like discussions, and one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast is because it's like, how do I get there? And we have a lot of people that are dreaming of that at 12, 13 years old, and then it fades away because maybe they don't have the guidance to get there. And that's kind of why we were thinking this is a good idea. Cody was really an advocate for that. Like, how do I help kids get, information about where to go? And so what you provided is really helpful. And I know I had a son that sent 350 emails out during COVID to all kinds of universities because he had nothing else to do, and he was really wanting to go to a college. He ultimately ended up at a D1 school, but it just was the passion that he had for it was crazy. But I've seen other kids that just have no passion for it, who are good players, but they just don't know how to sell themselves, or their parents don't know how to help them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think too, if the clubs don't help and the parents don't know what to do, then the student athlete is stuck. I got off the phone today with a recruit who thankfully ended up committing with us. I ended up talking with her sister for 30 minutes, and she was just explaining their family dynamic, and there wasn't any help from the club or from her coaches, so they just had no idea. They did not know what to do, and I do think that that is a big thing, like you're saying, just across the board. And where does it start? Who's the person that's supposed to be like, all right, we're going to help these students?
Yeah.
Is it the high school coach? Is it the college coach? Is it the parents? Are the parents supposed to be the ones that learn? I don't know.
Yeah, it's really hard. You're exactly right. And there's a lot of people at the club level, especially small town clubs, that they're focused on just game to game and making sure they get fields and get the balls and the cones out so they can do whatever. And it's just focused on the immediacy, not so much the long-term view of things.
Right.
So what kind of playing style do you have for your team?
Definitely possession-style-based soccer.
Okay.
We very much try to stay away from direct. I feel as though at the college level, even though you'll still see it at different programs, still do it, the kick and run. We want our team to understand soccer IQ and also just understand the art of soccer. It can be so beautiful when you can see a 1-2 touch pass from 9 people and you have those through balls and then you score. We've seen it multiple times on our team, and then when we do it, the girls are like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I'm thinking, yes, this is everything we've been trying to get to. And we finally got it, and it's clicked. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and that's got to be a satisfaction for you.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. Mm-hmm.
Does your roster size, I mean, I think we counted like you had 21 players last season or something like that, and you can have up to 28. Does your roster size kind of dictate your play too? Because you can't run them out of the building, whereas I know my son has played some teams where they just kept subbing and just running. So that really, seemed to be taking to that bigger roster size. But now these limited roster sizes seem like it would change maybe how you have to think about playing.
Yeah, so with D2, thankfully, there's no roster size limit yet. It's just affecting D1 with the 28.
Okay.
And I know a lot of girls got booted off their rosters last year. So I think just to put this plug out there that you don't always have to go D1. There's wonderful teams at D2, D3, NAI, even national ranked JUCOs that exist.
Yeah.
So does it make sense to go and sit on a bench at a D1 school when you could go be a starter at a D2 and have probably a very similar experience?
That's what it's really about, is playing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, right.
If you're going to go somewhere, you want to be on the field.
Yep, I 100% agree. So then with our roster, yeah, we had 21 last year. We had quite a few injuries, and it was tough at some games because there was one team specifically, they had 30 plus girls on their roster, and they just kept subbing and subbing. And we're playing in 90-degree weather heat, so we're getting beat down. However, this year we're going to have 27 or 28 girls, so I'm very excited with the amount of people that we're bringing in.
Good.
And now we can be one of those teams that can just continue to go. We're not going to put any foot on the brake. It's all gas, all gas.
Watch out, ladies. Here it comes.
Yeah.
What do you ask of your players over the summer? I know I've seen some colleges give out like, hey, this is what we want you to work on. Here are the things. Like a coach will say, hey, with my striker, these are specific things I want you to work on during the summer. And then fitness-wise, you know, I've heard of coaches giving fitness plans and whatnot. What's kind of your approach?
Yeah, so our strength coach works very much hand in hand with us, and she developed a strength plan for the ladies from, I think it's about a 12-week program or 11-week program. That's just a build-up. So maybe since we just got out of school, it's not as heavy, but then you're going to go heavy in the middle of the summer, and then you're going to go a little lighter right before we get here. But we just want to make sure our girls are getting fit and strong. I think sometimes there's a disconnect between high school and college. People may be the best on their high school team or their club team, but when you get to college, everyone's good and everyone's faster, stronger, better.
Yeah.
When a freshman comes in, they're 18, and I feel like a lot of people don't strength train. Most don't.
Yeah.
And now coming in as a freshman, you're already behind, but now you're even more behind because you're playing against ladies who have been in college now maybe 4 years, or girls who have their 5th year because of the COVID year or redshirt year. And then those ladies are jacked. Like, some girls are so fit, it's scary. So, nonetheless, we just really harp on them to make sure that they're holding themselves accountable, put in the work. When it comes to conditioning, this year we're having 4 different conditioning tests. People might think that that's overkill, but we want to condition 4 different things. We'll do the beep test, we'll do a 2-miler, we'll do the man-u, if you know that one, and then we're going to do one that we haven't done yet. It's basically you're just running a down and back from the touch line to the 50, and we want to see how many times they can do that in 5 minutes. The goal is to get 14. It's basically just a pace thing and an endurance thing. So, yeah, the fitness tests are most definitely not going to be easy.
No.
And it's not supposed to be easy.
I'm tired listening to it, so.
Yeah. And then we're also going to do a technical test. So we'll test first touch, we'll test the speed of one shot, passing tests, dribbling with speed and dribbling, just to see how close you can keep the ball, and all of it will be timed. That's something that's new for us this year. We didn't do a technical test this year, but we're looking for ways to just keep it very competitive. And with us bringing in, I believe, 15 or 16 girls coming like this year that are new,
Wow.
we have to ensure that the returners are going to lock in, because the new girls are all ready to go. But
Yeah.
it's the returners that sometimes get complacent and think, oh, well, I'm a senior, so I'm going to be a starter. No, unfortunately, if a freshman comes in and is out playing you and out hustling you, they're probably going to start over the senior.
And these are players that you're bringing in that you want at your school or that you've recruited too. That I'm understanding that you kind of took over the program like a year or two ago. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. So this class is our first full year of girls that we had time to build relationships with them and their families.
That's awesome.
Whereas last year I got signed on in January of 2025, so I was late in the recruiting game. And that's another reason why our roster was a little smaller, because it was tough to get girls here in such a short time crunch.
Were you prepared for like college recruiting when you took over as even an assistant coach? Did you realize like what it would entail, the amount of time and the amount of I mean, you had been a player and you had seen some of it, but being a coach is different, and having to go out and do it seems like it's just, it, I don't know what percentage of work that you put in on that, but it seems like it's a high percentage that you have to put in to build a team.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. I would say I was maybe half prepared for it in the sense that I like traveling, so that part didn't bother me. And then when I played for my club team in college, we would basically go around campus and recruit that way. So I think I'm really good at talking to people and creating relationships. So that part I didn't necessarily have a problem with. I think it's just the time, like you said. So this past spring, I spent probably about 75% of my weekends away and just on the road, traveling. And it is fun, but then the 2 free weekends that I had, I was like, wow, I just want to sit home and do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where does the break come in, right?
Yeah. Right now, thankfully, the next 2 months. So June and July, I mean, there'll still be a little recruiting, but it's not as heavy as the spring for us in terms of recruiting.
Yeah, that's crazy. So because you're in Florida, it seems like, just like in Arizona, like states like ours that are warmer in climates or have beaches nearby or whatever, it seems like that's an attractive recruiting tool. Is that true?
I would say yes. A lot of girls are looking to come to Florida. They like the beaches. They like that it's warm all the time. I thought it would be easier to get girls here because that's what I've heard too, and a lot of people want to come here. But then when it gets down to it, I had a few girls, oh yeah, I'm super interested, and we get down to an offer, and then they go, okay, well, I'm going to go to another school, and then I look up where they go because every Instagram page posts it, and I'm thinking, oh, you decided to go to a small school in Pennsylvania that has a worse record than we do? Weird. But ultimately, I think it all comes down to money. Everybody is looking to get to college for the lowest amount possible, at least from what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I think that's a huge factor in player decisions. And then, you know, a player going from Arizona to Florida, or Arizona to Pennsylvania, or Arizona to Connecticut, we've had players do, you know, some of each of those. I mean, it seems like that's a huge transition too. If they don't have family in the area, that's something that players making a life choice to take a risk, but they could gain so much from it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's where I really do think the relationships that you build with the player and their family come into play. You really do have to build that trust aspect. Are you going to make sure that this parent's child is safe, and are you going to look out for them? Obviously, you can't be their parent, but just more of like a guardian, essentially, and being just somebody that they can talk to, or just being there for them, because students go through so many different challenges and adversity. They need somebody, and they need a team and sisters, basically, to support them while they're away from home.
So I guess we're probably getting near the end here, but one of the other questions you mentioned early on was NIL and how that's affected recruiting and players being there. And my son didn't get the benefit from that at a D1. There just wasn't enough work on it from the coaching staff side or from the players' side. They had some, opportunities, and I don't think the boys pursued it because they didn't want it. But ultimately, it is there now, and I guess it's impacting some players, and they're trying. Obviously, that impacts the money part of the equation. But how does that play a role in what you're doing?
So as of right now, I haven't had much experience with the NIL path.
Okay.
Our school, our funding, I mean, we get an allotment for our soccer budget. We're very much a football school, as most universities are, so maybe they're getting some. I don't really know what that looks like for them.
Yeah.
However, one thing that we are doing as a team is we're getting people, our players, involved in basically just like reaching out to brands and getting brands to work with us and us to work with brands. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, just that way it kind of makes the girls feel as though they're a part of something. And it's a lot for the coach to do the fundraising and the recruiting and everything else that exists on the coach's to-do list.
Yeah.
And I told the girls and said, well, if this is something you guys want to go after, we're going to do this as a family, and you guys are going to figure out how to support each other through this. So I know that, for example, Dick's Sporting Goods, they have a pretty good like fundraising program and money program.
Huh.
So I've reached out to them and filling out some paperwork. But then we are trying to get on some little brand deals with some electrolyte companies. That's where we're starting right now. It's just little things that can help players experience and performance.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That is cool.
That's neat to hear that kind of approach, and there's your business degree at work, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so how can we help the brand, and what do they want us to do for us? So probably be a video talking about their electrolyte mix and what it does for the player and how it makes them feel good when they're playing. Branding, we love it.
All right, one final question I have for you. I've kind of asked a lot of our local club coaches in some of our other interviews. The World Cup, what are you looking for kind of going into the World Cup this year?
I'm going to be honest, it doesn't feel like it's a World Cup year. I am not seeing much publicity about it. I feel like even here in Florida, people aren't very hyped, but I love soccer, so of course I'm going to try to get involved somehow. So I'm excited that it is in America. I think that's really cool to experience that in my lifetime. And I don't think I was alive yet when the last one happened. Yeah, I don't think. So to see that is really cool. And I have heard that ticket prices are starting to drop. So I'm trying to see if I can go to one of the group stage games in either Georgia or Miami. So it's not a far drive for me. That would be really awesome to be a part of that. And I just wish America was more bought into soccer. Just the culture of soccer and the family feeling that you get of everybody being on one accord. Soccer and American football do not compare in terms of experience. I will stand on that till the day I die. Like when I go to a football game, an American football game, I do not feel the same as I do at a soccer game.
I do feel the community, like, you know, even in our small community, it's a tight knit group, and even if we're playing each other on a Sunday, you know, there's friendships that are made between teams, and we support each other in the community, and we're all trying to do the best for the kids, and I just feel like there's a lot of celebration when a kid goes somewhere. I felt that in my family. And when they come back home, it's a celebration, and I kind of feel the same. I went into Walmart the other day, and they had all the stuffed animals and Legos and all the goodies, but it doesn't feel like people are super hyped, and all that stuff was kind of to the side. It wasn't out in front of everybody. The thing that was out in front of everybody was the round soccer ball Coca-Cola bottles. That was it. So.
Nice. So funny.
All right, well, thank you, Coach Lewis,
thank
for
you.
taking this time, kind of explaining the process from your perspective. We really do appreciate it.
And hopefully we get some
thank
word
you.
out for you too, and you fill out your roster.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Would love to stay in contact and continue networking along the way.
Yes,
That sounds
and
awesome.
if we do hear of any future, student athletes that want to look into Florida, we'll definitely be promoting you as well, and we'll be looking forward to your season as we'll follow along.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your night.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.